All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of In the Huddle. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Rotundo, and if you're coming back, well, we know that Sam is not here today. He was at the Chiefs game this past week when they embarrassed the Patriots, so I know Sam's pretty happy. If Sam, when you're watching this, good win. We'll have you on later this week to give our predictions and all of that, so let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it.
You're listening to In the Huddle with Sam Gold and Chris Rotundo.
All right, let's get into our first story from this past week. And Thursday Night Football, Raiders pummeled the Chargers so badly that they finally decided to fire Brandon Staley. Long time coming. You have talents Justin Herbert, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. You hear that, you think Super Bowl, but they haven't had any success, and it was about time. Long time coming. About season too late that they ended up firing this guy when it should have been done at before the start of the season, the end of last season. They needed to let this guy go, and between injuries and just a poor entire season, your rookie Quentin Johnson hasn't been panning out. What's going on here? Not doing well. Fire your coach, and now it's on to next year between Mike Williams being out for the year, Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert on IR for the remainder of the year. It was a lost season when you guys should be winning now. You have a young quarterback in Justin Herbert who I want to see him win a Super Bowl. Will he win a Super Bowl? I don't know, just because it's a cursed franchise, as most people would probably agree. It's just painful to see, but I'll be interested to see who's interested in this Chargers head coaching position. It's going to be a very highly wanted position because of what I named: Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert, all that talent. You can win a Super Bowl with that talent, but it's a matter of fact of who do they bring in to lead the charge here, call the shots. That's what's going to be very interesting to see. A lot of positions are going to be open this offseason, just like any offseason, but this job in particular is probably going to be the most sought after one, and one that I'm having my eyes on the absolute most. So it's on the next season, and it's too much talent to let this team waste, which we've been seeing over and over again. So it sucks to see. I know fans of the Raiders, the Chiefs, you guys don't really care too much. You don't like the Chargers, but as an outsider looking in, I want to see this team have some success. All right, moving on to a team who has had no success recently. The Pittsburgh Steelers, losers of 3 straight, dropped Saturday's game to the Colts. What an embarrassing loss. And this is my team. I have nothing good to say. Mason Rudolph got literally about an hour ago, got named the starter for this upcoming week's game. I think Mason Rudolph sucks, because he does. This dude got hit in the head by a helmet by Myles Garrett. He's terrible. I don't like Mason Rudolph. I like Mitchell Trubisky, but he's not the guy. Kenny Pickett, he's obviously not the guy. They need to get a new quarterback. 3 straight losses. Your playoff hopes are on life support in this stacked AFC. I don't even know where to go. Who's to blame? Matt Canada, you got fired. So now the Steelers fans, we don't have to blame Matt Canada anymore. So where do we go? Kenny Pickett got hurt, so it's not like it's his fault. He's in the clear for now. Who's up next? We can blame our diva wide receivers. Sure, we saw the lack of effort out there. You can blame injuries to Minka Fitzpatrick. Cam Hayward went down early in the year. You can blame all of that. But the finger has to get pointed right now at Mike Tomlin. You had the Killer Bees, and you didn't win a Super Bowl with them. We've only won, I think, 3 playoff games in the last 10 years, I want to say, something like that, which is absolutely pitiful when you have a talent like Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell. Granted, had to run into the Patriots, and we know how that all went. But still, Mike Tomlin, you need to be looked at here, because I'm looking right at you. I'm not calling for your head yet, but I'm very close. I know you haven't had a losing season. You had a Super Bowl win. You're a Super Bowl winning head coach. I understand all that, but there comes a point when, just like the Patriots, all the success Bill Belichick had with the Patriots, that's coming to an end. He's gone after this year. Tomlin, a lot of success with the Steelers, but that might have to come to an end here. All good things must come to an end, and it might be time for a whole rebrand in Pittsburgh. I still don't know if I want that, but the position that the Steelers are in is one that I absolutely hate. looking at another team who's in a similar position, just like the Vikings. Both of those teams are too good to get a top draft pick, but not good enough to go out there and win a Super Bowl. Their ceiling is probably just winning a playoff game. And I hate being in that position because you're not good enough to compete, but you're not bad enough to go out here and get one of these franchise players like a Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., anything of that talent. So you lose out on that, and you sit there and you're like, what now? I don't know what the Steelers are going to do. They're definitely not going to go and make a move for a franchise quarterback. I know Sam always says Kirk Cousins is such a Steelers guy. I love Kirk. I don't want Kirk, though. He's older. We know what he can do, as we've seen him with the Vikings. He's a guy who he'll have great games, and he'll have games and you're like, what's going on? He's a great locker room guy. He's a good NFL quarterback, but he's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And for the Steelers, I want a guy who's going to be the franchise guy and is going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback and prove to us that we can do that. I haven't seen it with Kenny Pickett yet. Mitchell Trubisky, he was the guy in Chicago. That didn't work out. Mason Rudolph, he's been the third string all year. It's not really working out there. He needs to go. He was battling with Devlin Hodges a few years ago. I'm really going back now. This is probably the most worked up I've ever been. I'm not yelling because I did all that already over this past weekend about this team. I'm just at a loss for words. I'm pissed off that Sam isn't here to be able to watch me actually go through these emotions now on camera, because it's always off camera. I'm really getting worked up right now again. I mean, I don't know. Do I flip a table? Do I punch a hole through my computer? I don't know. I'm very mad. I don't even know what to do. And their next three games: Cincinnati, Jake Browning, he's been playing lights out. Seattle, I think that game's a toss-up. I don't even know anymore. And then the Baltimore Ravens, who are the top team in the AFC right now, holding that number one seed. So in the next three games, we'll get to our predictions later, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But I really don't know if the Steelers can win more than 2 games maximum with here. I mean, are they going to fight their way to get to above 500 or 500 or better? Maybe tie here, go 1-1-1? I don't know. I don't care. I just want to know what's going to happen next year, because we're not winning a Super Bowl. We might not even make the playoffs. Coming into the year, I didn't have Super Bowl hopes, but I had higher hopes than this. We're wasting away TJ Watt, arguably the best defensive player in the league now, in the running for yet another defensive player of the year. And we're just wasting him. I'm very annoyed. Pickens, he's being a little diva, but rightfully so. Rightfully so. When you're stuck in an offense that's averaging 14 points per game since firing Matt Canada and just over 16 with Matt Canada, and there's that much talent, it just is a whole rebrand. And if we got rid of Mike Tomlin, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, we need to do that. I'm just so stuck in the middle here, but I've had enough of this team right now. I'm ready to move on, and I don't even want to see them. Thankfully, they're not even on Red Zone next week, because but I have to watch them on Saturday, so I'm going to ruin my Saturday. Moving on to 2 teams who can be on a happier side of where I am right now, the Ravens and the Dolphins. Both teams fighting for the 1 seed right now. If these teams both win out, the Ravens get the 1 seed, but if the Ravens lose the game and the Dolphins go out and win out, they get the 1 seed. So it's going to be very critical. Let's look at the next 3 games for the Baltimore Ravens. They have the 49ers, very difficult matchup. The Miami Dolphins, they're the number 2 seed right now. That's no easy task. And then Pittsburgh, division rival. They're always going to play them tough. That can go either way. So the Ravens, it's no walk in the park to close out this race for the 1 seed. On the other side, Miami, no cakewalk at all. They have Dallas. They have Miami has Dallas. I put Miami facing Miami here. Hold on. We are, this is, this happens sometimes when I don't have Sam. I lose my train of thought. Okay, here we go. They have Miami. Then they also put the Ravens. I don't know how I didn't put 2 and 2 together, being that anyway, they see Dallas, then Miami, and then they play Buffalo. That's going to be a tough game, especially with Buffalo, the momentum they've had recently. That's no walk in the park either for them. What I'm very curious to see is this Chiefs team. How are they going to play when you have MVP, 2-time Super Bowl winner, Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league, when they close out with Vegas, who they always seem to destroy, Cincinnati without Joe Burrow? That's going to be interesting. Can Browning keep this up? And then the Chargers, a wasted season, no Justin Herbert. I know it's division rival. They'll play them tough that final week, but they'll probably come away with the win there. So right here, I can see the Chiefs winning 2 games. And then you have Miami, who very realistically, they can go 1-2 in that. Miami and Baltimore can both go 1-2 right there. So the 1 seed, don't count out the Chiefs yet. If you check our TikTok and Instagram, there's a reel up there when I hinted at the Chiefs potentially and some Mahomes magic, and I'm not counting it out. And even for the Ravens, it gets even harder for them. You lose Mark Andrews, and you lose J.K. Dobbins, and also you lose Keaton Mitchell. He's done for the year. Another running back. That's 3 crucial offensive injuries right there. And yes, Lamar Jackson isn't hurt, but you lose 3 of your top playmakers on that offense. You have Zay Flowers, and then you have a 100-year-old Odell Beckham Jr. Who do you really trust on that team? You're going to put the faith in which one of your weapons? I know, you have Lamar Jackson. He can do it all. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. But how many times can he do that before you have to rely on some of these guys like an Odell, Zay Flowers? Odell's old. He's not the same. Zay Flowers, he's a rookie. He has no experience. Where do you go from there? You have Isaiah Likely, who's been very solid. I'm just concerned because Lamar, the 1 year that Lamar doesn't get hurt, every other piece of random has to get hurt. I'm a Steeler fan. I don't want to see the Ravens have success, but I don't want to see anyone get hurt. And I really would much rather see this Ravens team lose fully healthy than lose hurt. I don't care if they lose, but still, because I want to see what they can do fully healthy. And we have yet to be able to see that. Because, of course, it's too good to be true that Lamar Jackson can stay healthy, and so can all of his other weapons. It's really painful. And then the Dolphins. I'm concerned with them a little bit because are they going to be able to beat multiple teams with winning records? Dallas has a winning record. Ravens winning record. Buffalo has a winning record. What can they do? We've seen them have the struggles with the winning record teams. Granted, Dallas, they struggled to beat winning record teams as well. So that game was a legit 50-50. And Dallas coming off that embarrassing loss to Buffalo, which I'll touch upon in a little bit. Huge games coming up to close out here. So the 1 seed race is going to be absolutely must-see TV. And these final weeks of the season, it's going to be fun. But speaking of close races, the AFC South, what a race this is. Jaguars, Colts, Texans, all tied 8-6 in the hunt for the playoffs right now. And wow, that loss that the Jaguars suffered on Sunday Night Football to the Ravens, 23-7. Trevor Lawrence in concussion protocol. They have a very crucial game next week against, I want to say, the Buccaneers. That's must win. All 3 of these teams have must win games coming up for the rest of the year. They can't force anything. The Texans, huge win without Stroud. He's coming back. So who gets the win in this division? I don't know. You told me at the beginning of the season the Jaguars, Colts, and Texans were all going to be tied at 8-6. I would have said crazy. Anthony Richardson, he's out for the year. He was playing phenomenal. CJ Stroud playing out of his mind. All question marks with those 2 quarterbacks right there. And the Titans, who knew about the Titans? They're not it. But you have 2 rookie quarterbacks that no one really knew what to expect. You know, there's obviously the potential, but they were playing like they were seasoned veterans. And they were carrying their teams in their back. Gardner Minshew steps up. He deserves a starting job. He's playing great. He should get a starting job, but top backup in the league. No surprise here from this veteran. You have CJ Stroud, concussion, out for the week. Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. What's going on here? Everyone thought the Jags were going to sit here and run away with this division. That's not the case here. It's the NFL. These are professional athletes. Any given week, anyone can win, anyone can lose. And this has been, by far, without a doubt, the most exciting division just because of all the stories with injuries, rookie quarterbacks, and who's going to rise, who's going to be the cream of the crop. If I'm going to put a bet on it right now, I'm going to say the Houston Texans. You're going to get Stroud back. I know Tank Dell's down, but what a story that would be, and I'm all here for the great stories. I know I was higher than most on the Jaguars. I still am. I'm not switching my pick for them to come out of the AFC. I'm going to hold strong with that, but to win the division, I'm going to go with the Texans just because of how well Stroud's been playing, and he is being the best quarterback in that division and one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL for what's that worth, and he was and I feel should still be considered a true MVP candidate. He's not going to win it, but he should be at the top of that list. Top 5 in the MVP rankings for me for this year for what it's worth. And what a race it's going to be. Going on to another division with a crazy race, the division of absolute mediocrity. NFC South. Buccaneers 7-7, Saints 7-7, Falcons 6-8. Bucks huge win over the Packers, Saints huge win over the Giants, and the Falcons had a very funny loss to now the 2-12 Carolina Panthers. And just, I don't know what's going to happen here. The Falcons find ways to win games in weird ways. The Saints, they're kind of boring. They're not very good. Derek Carr, he has his up and downs. Baker Mayfield, the inconsistency from him is mind-boggling. He'll have a game like yesterday when he throws it for nearly 400 yards and multiple touchdowns, and he'll look like he deserved to be a top draft pick, and this is the guy who you thought you were getting out of college. And then you have games when it's like, what the heck is going on? You're scratching your head. So I don't know where I'd place my money if I'm to pick a team who's going to win this division. I don't know how much I can trust the Bucs, being what I said about Baker Mayfield. I know they have Godwin, they have Evans, they have weapons. Same thing with the Saints. Between the Saints and the Bucs right now, I don't want to put too much stock into the Falcons. I think Desmond Ridder stinks. I think Arthur Smith, he's a terrible coach, but he just gets by because of they somehow have 6 wins. If I'm going to pick a team right now to come out of this division between the Bucs and the Saints, I'll just say the Saints, just because I feel that I don't even have a good reason to pick the Saints. It's legit a 50-50 toss, but I guess I said the Saints just because I trust Derek Carr more than I would Baker Mayfield. I don't feel good about saying that because I don't think that I trust either one of these quarterbacks all too much. But it is what it is, and it's going to be another fun division race. Funny enough, the AFC South and NFC South, both the South divisions, both having some of the craziest runs for the end of the season. But moving on for more talk about another AFC team, we have the Buffalo Bills putting on a beating on the Cowboys, 31-10. Love to see it. Cowboys holding the 1 seed. No more, because the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen have a crucial victory back-to-back. You beat the Chiefs, you beat the Cowboys. What more can you ask? This Buffalo team, they're striking the iron while it's hot, and this is when you need to be looking at it and saying to yourself, okay, who's going to win the Super Bowl? What teams get hot towards the end of the year? You look at teams like in basketball, in baseball. What teams are hot in the last month of the season, last few weeks, that can carry the momentum into the playoffs? And right now, the Buffalo Bills are probably the team with the most momentum and the hottest right now. Crucial win against the Chiefs. Absolutely massive win against a top team in the NFC like the Cowboys. So they're clicking while it's hot. You only have 3 more games left. So we'll see exactly what happens here. I know you have a game against the Chargers next week, but don't think that's going to be a walk in the park. You know how I feel about teams who fire their head coach and then the following week. So I don't think that's going to be an easy week. You also still have to see the Dolphins, so it's not going to be an easy end of the schedule for them, but it's a manageable one, and their playoff hopes are still up in the air because anything can happen, but I am going to be very interested to see what happens. Their Super Bowl odds, I think now they're 50-1 odds after I want to say they were 150-1 odds coming into the week. Absolutely massive shift in momentum there. They're the hottest team in football. You can debate me all you want, but you beat 2 of the top teams in the league record-wise back-to-back weeks. One of your biggest rivals right now in the Chiefs, and then a team who nobody likes in the Cowboys. What more can you ask for as a Bills fan? You get these 2 wins after a terrible start to the year, everything going wrong for you. Are you going to miss the playoffs, and now you're on the inside of it, in the thick of it, and people are now talking about you as a potential candidate for a Super Bowl berth? For what it's worth, on the record, I don't think they're going to make the Super Bowl, but if they do, I'm here to tell you that anything is possible, and because they are so hot right now, there is definitely a possibility for that, and they're very well still alive. You have a quarterback in Josh Allen. Cook has been absolutely electric. He's a running back that is like a wide receiver. This dude's getting 20-yard passes and running it in for touchdowns. You have Diggs. You have the sensational rookie tight end in Kincaid. You have Dawson Knox, the seasoned veteran who's been there. You have Gabe Davis. There's weapons all over this offense. The defense is solid. So we'll see exactly what happens and where this all finishes out for them. It's going to be another team. I keep on repeating myself because it's so true. It's going to be such a fun ride to see how they conclude out the season. Another team I want to harp on right here, the 49ers. Once again, we have to talk about them because of how good they've been. McCaffrey, monster day. Brock Purdy, monster day. They beat up on the Cardinals, but the 49ers, after this win, they are the clear Super Bowl favorites. I think Brock Purdy now is the clear MVP favorite, especially after Dak Prescott got embarrassed yesterday by the Buffalo Bills. And quite honestly, there's no talking me off of Brock Purdy as an MVP anymore. I was up in the air when I was like, okay, I'll listen to the debate about Dak Prescott being MVP, but now it's clear. It's over. The door was open. Now it's shut. Brock Purdy's MVP. I know you can still argue and sit here and say, what about Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, these guys? It's a quarterback award, so we have to give it to a quarterback, but even it doesn't matter. Brock Purdy has been insane. And for everyone saying he's throwing the ball 6 yards to Deebo Samuel, checkdowns to Christian McCaffrey, go watch a 49er game before you read your cute little comment sections on Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, and see all that. Because if you actually go and look at the statistics and watch a full 49er game, you see that this dude airs out the ball. He goes through all of his reads and he makes the best play available. And it just so happens that Deebo Samuel is arguably the most explosive player in the league. I still think he's number 2 to Tyreek Hill, but sorry that you have a guy who can do it all. Sorry that you have a guy in Christian McCaffrey that can do it all. I'm sorry that the 49ers can construct a really good roster. I know you would love to hate on them, but it sucks to suck. Just face the facts that Brock Purdy is better than you want to admit he is. Brock Purdy's amazing. I really like this guy. The story is absolutely incredible. Mr. Irrelevant to Mr. Relevant. We've heard it all. And if he can get a Super Bowl and lead this team to a Super Bowl, which I think they're coming out of the NFC at this point. But if he can get them to win a Super Bowl, what a story that would be. And I don't know what people are going to have to hate on at this point, because I watched this game and I just see a very good quarterback and a guy who would succeed in any NFL, on any NFL team and elevate them, frankly, for what that's worth. So I know people are going to come at us and be like, oh, stop the glazing of Brock Purdy, this and that. He's not that good. All he does is check it down to Deebo, this and that. And what I have to say to you guys is go watch tape and look at the statistics, because that's just not true whatsoever. And I just don't like to see that, because you see it time and time again. A deep 40-yard pass to Kittle for a touchdown. Deep pass to Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk is always open for a 35-yard catch and run. So you do tell me what your excuse is now, especially after this game. What's your excuse now? I'll sit here and I'll listen. Go find your cute little excuses. I'll wait, because you have none. There are absolutely no excuses why Brock Purdy shouldn't be MVP. He's a top quarterback in the league, and I just don't see how you can argue otherwise. He's Brock Purdy. I know he might not have the flashy name like a Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. I know he might not have that type of flashy name. So what? Tell me. I'm here and I'm listening. And Sam, I know you're watching, and I know you're shaking your head saying, "Yep, Chris, you're exactly right." Because Sam and I are on the same page with this. We had this conversation literally yesterday about Brock Purdy, MVP, all of that. And we have to harp on the same thing week after week because people keep on hating, but there's no reason why he shouldn't be MVP. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. He's MVP and we have to live with it. And I'm happy to announce that Brock Purdy will win the MVP. Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah, that race will be between Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, and those two guys, because they've been the best two offensive position players. And it's been exciting to watch. McCaffrey, he can stay healthy. Amazing. Tyreek Hill, he was out this past week versus the Jets. Was he going to get 2,000 yards? I think yes. And that battle's going to be fun. I'm excited to see. I think that Tyreek Hill will win the Offensive Player of the Year award, which is we're witnessing history here, people. Instead of complaining and bitching and moaning about, oh, why is he winning this? Why is he winning that? Why can't we just sit back and just enjoy history? Because will we ever see another receiver hit 2,000 yards again? Maybe. But when? When is that going to happen? It might not be for another 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It could not be in our lifetime. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing we're witnessing. We got to witness Tom Brady. We're witnessing Tyreek Hill in this crazy year. We're witnessing Patrick freaking Mahomes. We're witnessing so much greatness, and yet everyone wants to sit here and have something to complain about instead of actually being like, wow, live in the moment. I get to watch these guys play, and I get to tell my kids, I get to tell my grandkids, yeah, I saw these guys play. I got to go watch them in person, win Super Bowls, and I get to be here and tell them about the stories about how great these guys were. But no, we have to go in our little comment sections and constantly complain and get ridiculed for saying stuff that's honestly just a true statement. But what can you do? Another fantastic week of football in the books, and a little treat for you guys. No Sam, but why not bring on our producer Al, and let's talk some wrestling. It's his on-screen debut for In the Huddle. And Sam, I know you always like to sit here and poop on us about the whole wrestling talk, but you know what? I acknowledge Al.
Let's go.
I acknowledge him. So here he comes, the on-screen debut of Alessandro.
Here we go.
All right, and here he is.
Hello.
Al is finally here on camera, so now
Finally here.
the mystery is over, Al.
I'm usually behind the camera for these things, so it's weird being here. I'm usually telling them to hold the mic in a certain way and like look a certain way and do everything, and now I have to follow those directions, and I can't see myself or the audio, which is kind of scary because I'm the one who edits though. So
Well, you know what?
if it gets messed up, I'm a little concerned, but we'll be all right.
Hopefully.
I'm excited to talk wrestling
Was-
because I can't talk football like to the same skill you guys can, but wrestling,
This is our bread and butter. Right
yeah, I
here.
may have like, somewhat knowledge. I haven't watched it like continuously in a long time, but
you're keeping up though. I know.
yeah.
We text about it.
Yeah, I keep up for sure. How could I not keep up with Punk coming back? But like
Huge.
6 years ago, that's when I was like really into it. And then
Mhm.
like I stopped after I think I stopped right before Roman became a Paul Heyman guy.
Okay.
Like right before that.
I was huge when like the whole Cena Punk. Remember? I forgot when he was like shaving people's heads and everything.
Yeah.
That's what I was like my peak, and then I still kept up with it, but kind of slowed down once Punk ended up leaving the company.
Yeah.
The Authority and everything. I was still like watching, but I was kind of like.
Yeah.
Like, I was like here and there. I wasn't watching like every episode of Raw, every episode of SmackDown, but I would still keep up, the pay-per-views and all that. So I still knew what was going on. I just wasn't as diehard as I was before. But I was also like at that weird stage when I was older, when it was like I was transitioning we were going into high school, and I was like, I'm still a fan, but I'm not going to watch it as much. And then I got into college, and my roommates and I were sitting here playing one of the WWE games, and I'm like, what am I doing? And I just got back into like my hardcore phase. So now I'm sitting here watching every episode of Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, every pay-per-view, and I'm happy I'm back to being like
You watch NXT too?
a little bit. I'll watch a little bit. I mean, Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's I like what Shawn Michaels is doing there.
It's crazy that they gave him creative control over there. But like, dude, I saw on Amazon Prime the other day, he's in some movie. If I can find like a clip of it, I'll put it in it. But he's in some movie where he plays like this green guy. I think it's a spoof of the Avengers, and he plays the Hulk. I swear. Dude, it's so funny.
I gotta find this now.
Yeah, if I can find it, dude, I'm putting that like a picture of him on the screen because it's hilarious. But I started watching like 2 weeks after Punk left the first time, and I think his last match was like a tag team match for like tribute to the troops.
Avengers of Justice. Farce.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's Shawn Michaels at the top. It's a great picture.
We'll throw up the
Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw that
thing
up so people can see that. Anyway, I started watching like 2 weeks after he quit the first time, and like, I think his last match was like a tag team match with like him, Rey Mysterio, Cena, and maybe Daniel Bryan at the time. I don't know who was in it, but I know it was Rey Mysterio and he was in it, or maybe the Shield. I think he was in a feud with the Shield for a little bit, and then like he wanted to go for the title, and Triple H was like, "No, you're gonna have a match with me," and he's like, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm leaving." So that's crazy. I like the whole story about how he left. Like,
yeah, the pipe bomb.
yeah,
There was a point in my life when I would go on YouTube and I'd watch the pipe bomb. I think at least twice a day. I'm not even kidding about that. I was like in like a punk. I was in like a punk phase, but it was like a hardcore phase. Like I thought I was seeing Punk for like a good like while of my life.
You were straight edge.
Everything.
Straight edge.
Everything.
X's on the hands. Like
it was a time, but CM Punk, he's my favorite wrestler of all time. Nothing has ever changed. Nothing will change.
But listen, here's where I may differ a little bit. All right. I think the change is going to happen now. I think we saw CM Punk when he was Chicago made. I think those days now are over. I think now he's
older now.
PG Punk. We're never going to be able to see what he did before. Because, one, I don't think you can say that stuff anymore.
No. Everything's changed now. WWE used to be able to go out here and say whatever the hell you wanted to say.
Exactly.
And now they have to – times have changed. You have to be careful now.
I was saying this a second ago. Like, there was a time not too long ago when they would call these people wrestlers, but they're not wrestlers anymore. They're superstars. Like, it's so stupid. How can these professionals go to like, this is what I'm saying. Like, they go to media, they go to like Good Morning America, they go to like all these different local news stations, and they're like, look who's coming on today, the local WWE superstar. What? Like, dude, how could anyone feel comfortable with that as the position behind them? Oh, I'm a superstar. Like, dude, you're a wrestler. You became a wrestler for a reason. You went to school to wrestle. And we're from New Jersey, which is we're not far from Enzo Amore.
Yeah.
Yeah, like not far from where he grew up. And people, I think his name at the time, who was the guy, the wrestler with a big like handlebar mustache, and he kind of like tried to look like a vaudevillain.
You're putting me on the spot. I see his face. Of course, whenever the camera rolls, I just like forget everything. But
look him up. Look up the vaudevillain mustache wrestler. Because he hates Enzo Amore specifically because of like everything he did. But Enzo would say all the time like, "Oh, like I was never trained like you guys. I was never trained like you guys." But like in reality, he like it's that guy.
Which one?
It's no, it's not.
I'm like, this is Hulk Hogan.
No, type in vaudevillain. No, he's like recent. No,
I know it's none of these guys I'm showing you.
He was like on NXT. I have to find a picture of him. But he's young. He's a young guy. These are like old pictures.
We're getting photos of like okay.
Anyway, but he hated Enzo because he was like, Enzo would always say he wasn't trained the same way. And then this guy like looked up like where he's from, which is like near our area.
Yeah.
Turns out there's a bunch of wrestling schools near us, and he was like, dude, you like you're full of it. Mm-hmm. Like you're full of it. And like I believe it. It's just crazy that like that's our guy. And then that's what he did. I mean, we have Liv Morgan now, which is like awesome.
That's a whole other story. She just got arrested and everything.
Yeah, that is crazy. What did she get arrested for?
I saw a video the other day, literally last night, explaining it, and it was, I think,
DUI.
Yeah, it was DUI, but I don't know. She had like stuff in the car that apparently was her friends. I have no idea. And I'm like, is she gonna get
friends?
I'm like, is she gonna get released? But she's not gonna get released. The locker room's still behind her, and they have her still when she returns booked for a huge promotion. So
really,
yeah, I think she might be the one to dethrone Rhea Ripley. I think that's what the rumors are going for. Like she's going to be in a feud with Rhea Ripley. Something along those lines, but
that would be cool.
It's going to be a championship feud.
I don't think she's on the same level, though, as Rhea Ripley. Like, Rhea Ripley is really...
Is anyone on the same level as her right now?
No, she's a box office draw, man. Yeah. Like, she will sell tickets for the women, for sure.
She's not just the biggest woman wrestler right now. She is
wrestler.
One of the top wrestlers in the world right now.
She's entertaining to watch. She's good at acting, which is half the business, and most people who work there now cannot act. Like, that's crazy. These people come in here, like, with...
She's one of the top names in the company.
Yeah. She could do it, man.
You could throw her up there as, like, right now, like, the full-time people.
Oh, yeah.
Top 5.
Oh, yeah. She's got style, too. I remember, like, when I was in college, I was talking to, like, one of my friends who, like, doesn't even watch wrestling. She's like, I don't watch wrestling at all, but I've seen it a few times. Just because of Rhea Ripley. I was like, really? They're like, yeah, she's really cool.
And the whole thing with you paired her with the Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio, the whole Dominic Mysterio, Dom, Monday Night Mommy, that whole thing, it just elevated them to new heights. And it's great, not just for Rhea Ripley and the whole Judgment Day with Finn, JD, Damian, but it elevated Dominic Mysterio to a new height, which he was... I say he was kind of in his dad's shadow a little bit. Everyone's like, oh, he's only here because of Ray, this and that. But Dom has talent, and he's getting better. He didn't go through the entire training in NXT and development. He was thrown in there.
Yeah, man.
He was thrown in there as very young when a lot of people
He's
are
got to
sitting
be
here.
like our age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I'm not exactly sure. He's young, though, but he didn't go through the ranks of NXT. He was thrown right to the main roster, it seems.
yeah, which
And
is
boom.
crazy. And like he still put on a good show. Like
Yeah,
the
he's
kid,
fun. He's funny.
yeah, the kid can really like sell. Like he can act. He's good at like performing. He can really like sell his bumps for
And
sure.
Recently, he's been in some huge matches. Pay-per-view versus Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, that is
He
huge.
Had a match against Randy Orton. And Punk's debut match back is against Dominic
Was he
Mysterio.
in the Was he in War Games?
Dominic, yeah, he was in War Games.
He was in the actual War
it was,
Games
It was
match?
Judgment Day versus Seth and all
Oh
that.
yeah, right.
So, and he's been thrown into these huge spots with huge names. Punk is going to obviously have to beat Dominic Mysterio. No surprise there.
Yeah, like did you see like the full circle like story for them? Like Punk talking to him like when he was a little kid, like
Yeah,
in the ring
yeah,
with
yeah.
Ray, and like now he's all grown up looking at him like, oh.
It's crazy because it just makes you... I can't even imagine how it makes them feel, but so much older now.
I just love the bromance between CM Punk and Kofi Kingston. Like I remember
That was fun.
I remember years ago they were always talking about like how they would go in the same bus and like play video games after, and like CM Punk had like this huge bus because he was like the
Yeah.
hottest guy.
But they wouldn't put him on a main event at WrestleMania, which
Yeah,
I don't know why.
it's crazy. And then he would say like I had to pick someone to like bring back with me on the bus, so I always chose Kofi. I was like, dang, that's crazy.
It's fun to see, I'm still not over the whole thing about Punk never being able to main event WrestleMania.
That has to happen. Like,
I mean,
that
it
has
will.
to happen.
He's gonna main event night 1 against Seth, and then it's probably gonna be Roman and Cody night 2. That whole thing. But
Okay.
this is where
Here's the thing, though. If you main event night 1, is it really a main event night 2? Or, like, vice versa? Like, what is the main event? The main event, to me, would be night 2, the last
they
match.
do that so more superstars can get on the card and more big matches. I understand all that, but at the same time, night 2 just, to me, always feels, and it is the bigger of the two main
Yeah.
events, which is still technically a main event because it's broken down like 2 pay-per-view cards because
Right.
it's the same amount of matches that would be a normal pay-per-view, but on 2 nights. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But it's...
I mean, I think it helps for sure. No one wants to watch WrestleMania for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And before,
I don't mind
they
the
would...
2 nights.
They would
I'm a huge fan for it. More wrestling?
Yeah, I mean it's good because they can add in so many more matches. Like remember before like WrestleMania 30, 29, 28, they cut so many of the diva matches at the time. Like I remember I knew that just from Total Divas, like just watching because I was a Daniel Bryan fan, and like I don't know, that show gave me more insight into Daniel Bryan, so I watched it. But yeah, they cut a lot of matches like in the past couple years. I remember like the Funkadactyls, they had a match that got cut and like they were super pissed about it.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I'll be mad too. You're
Yeah,
getting a
who
huge spot
wouldn't?
taken away from
That's
you.
like your spot. Like
Yeah.
you're in this company for this
So
moment.
the 2 nights of WrestleMania, I'm a huge fan of it. It just stinks because if you're main eventing, you're on WrestleMania and you're main eventing. No need to be mad, but night 2 is just the bigger of the 2 main
Yeah.
events.
Yeah, I mean you can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, but my question for you, I don't even think there's a clear answer. How does Punk get to Rollins and how does Cody get to Roman? Rollins ends up interrupting Punk, and he said he's going to enter the Rumble, and he's going to win the Rumble and then challenge you for the title. But Cody's also entering the Rumble, and for him to get to Roman, he's going to need to win the Rumble and to get challenged to Roman because Cody is Raw, Roman's SmackDown. Punk and Seth are both on Raw, so I see the path for Punk to get to him, but I have faith in Triple H. He's going to cook up something, whoever wins, but right now, as much as I want to see Punk win the Rumble, I think because Punk and Seth are both on Raw, there's an easier way for Punk not to win the title just to fight Seth. While I feel for Cody, he has to win to get to Roman, which that's probably the plan right now.
Yeah, I feel like storyline wise, it would make more sense for Cody to win. I feel like what's hot right now is everyone wants to see Punk win the Rumble, but at the same time, like I don't think that would have the same pop everyone thinks it's gonna have. Either way, if Punk or Cody win, it's gonna be a huge pop.
Yeah, either one. One
But
of those two are going to win.
There's 2 things I think about it. One, I think Cody has to win just for like the whole finish the story, whole mantra he has going on. Like that would be perfect. Like that would line up perfect. Like
It would have been perfect last year, but now we're going on another year, and I'm not sick of it. I want to see a Cody Rhodes title run.
Yeah.
He deserves it. I think it would be so much fun. Then Roman would go on a huge hiatus and that whole thing. But I want to see a new champion because I want to see new opponents, new matchups. I'm sick and tired of. I'm having fun with Roman's title reign, but I want to see. I want to see a new person
overhyped.
there.
Let me ask you this: since the basis of the company revolves around you having to go into the company and then leave and then come back to be rewarded the way you are, supposed to be, like for both of these guys, who do you think deserves it more now that Punk left? He was the biggest draw and still got, the loudest pops when he wasn't there for the past 10 years, or Cody, a guy who was stardust at the time, hated his career in WWE, left, makes AEW a huge competitor, the only competitor in WWE, and then leaves them and goes back to WWE. Who deserves more of a pop, more of a push? I think it has to be Cody.
I think they both deserve it equally. I can never go against Punk. I'm a Punk supporter.
I love Punk, man. I love Punk, but this isn't the same Punk we saw before.
Listen,
he's walking out here in his pink hoodie, I'm from Shawn Michaels now. You're not. He's too PG now.
They both deserve it, and they're both gonna get it. Punk seems like he's having a lot more fun.
Yeah,
you could tell he's actually enjoying it, making jokes, hanging out with the talent on the production side. He's back. It's fresh. Triple H is in charge, and I just can't believe that we have CM Punk back.
I know, with Cody. And we're back. Sorry, couldn't check the camera, but now we're back this time because I checked the camera. I usually do it behind the camera, but this time I'm on the camera. Anyway, what are we talking about now, Chris?
Want to talk about some Royal Rumble action?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Who do you think? Okay, first of all, I think this is a lock. Okay, but now when I just say it out loud, I don't think it's going to be a lock. But AJ Lee has a good shot of coming back for the women's Rumble.
Punk name dropped her.
Yeah, you can't just do that and be like, she sends her condolences. Does she? Show me she cares. And I think now she's going to come back.
I'll never forget the tag team match when she made out with Kane. It was so funny.
Dude, I forgot about that. She literally did.
It was so funny.
She used to be in a posse with Big E and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. I was, the story.
Yeah, you were there.
I saw the Dolph Ziggler cash-in live. Crazy.
That is crazy. The craziest part is, if you watch that match now and pause it at the right time, you can see Chris. He's there with his glasses yeah! It's so awesome.
That was a crazy. I could talk forever about that night. I remember everything so vividly. The Shield came down literally right next to us.
Yeah.
Undertaker, Kane. Oh my gosh. Mark Henry and Cena.
Mark Henry.
Fandango.
Yeah, that was his first night. That was a really loud audience that night. One of the loudest ever.
After the show went off air, in case you guys care enough, after the show went off air, Fandango came back out, and the entire arena was up dancing and just singing his song.
Really?
And he was dancing. It was so much fun. Cena came out. It was so much fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Everyone would just go da, 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 da. Everyone was having a blast. It went on for 10 extra minutes. It was so much fun.
Dude, rest in peace, Fandango. And the Izod Center where that event took place.
Izod Center nearly collapsed that night because of how loud it was.
You think so?
No, but it was crazy.
That's where I got my Roman Reigns autograph.
I'm
but that was before he was the tribal chief. That was when he was still in the Shield. And they were just selling it for $10. I was like, I'll take it.
The Shield was probably one of my favorite factions.
Great faction.
In wrestling.
Phenomenal faction.
Absolutely.
So cool. The way they came down, the intro music, where they're all saying the codes.
You never knew where
Sierra
they were gonna come
Hotel, from. The Shield.
Everyone looking around where are they going to come
from?
They have the vest on.
And it was a good 3 guys to put together. They were all really skilled guys.
Yeah, it was good. They just
especially
always attack everyone.
John Moxley.
I want him to come back to WWE.
Formerly known as Dean Ambrose.
He's not coming back though, I don't think. But if he did,
no man, he's doing good stuff in AEW.
He is. And
now he's got a feud with MJF, I think.
I want MJF to come to WWE.
That would be crazy if he came back. Imagine if the brand split like this, where for one night only he comes into the Rumble. Why not? Because AEW did the thing with New Japan.
Yeah.
So why can't we do it?
It will never happen. They do not like each other, those companies, but. WWE,
they don't want to recreate the wars.
It's just like Seth Rollins always said. WWE is where the best are, and it's just the highest production quality. It's just the best wrestling out there, and there's really not debate. You look at the two products. Listen, AEW, I don't hate it. I just don't like it as much as WWE. I'm a fan of both. I'll sit down and I'll watch both, but you won't have me watching every AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Every episode of Dynamite, Rampage, and all that. You won't have me watching every episode like that, like WWE, but I'm still involved in the storylines. I'm still keeping up with MJF, Adam Cole, Moxley, Christian Cage, and Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge.
Yeah, you gotta love them. Edge is my favorite ever.
It's been fun, but you know what? Edge, the way he left WWE, he had his match and then he wanted to finish it off with his best friend. So
yeah, I like the way he's ending it in AEW. The way he ended it in WWE is like iffy for me. I don't think that's a really cinematic ending, but to end it with his buddy, like that's pretty awesome.
I think it was cinematic the way he went off with Sheamus, the guy who told him to get back into the ring and motivated him enough to wrestle again. And they never had a match before, so I'm happy with that. I thought it was good. But
Edge's last match in WWE was with Sheamus.
Yeah, on SmackDown.
What? That like bothers me.
I thought it was good because the whole story, how Sheamus and him were hanging out, and then they did, I think, like mountain biking or something, and Edge took a crazy like fall off a bike, and Sheamus like, if you could do that, you could still be wrestling and everything, and he got him right back into it training, and that's why he came back, because of Sheamus.
Speaking of which, since we are Jersey natives, and this is the last thing we'll touch on,
we gotta go to the Rumble.
Yes, though. Sheamus got married like 2 weeks ago in Hoboken, and he was like literally there with like Cesaro and Rusev, and they're all and who's the other guy? Drew McIntyre.
You told me about all that.
Yeah, and they're all taking pictures like in Hoboken, like looking at the city, and like Sheamus is getting married. Like Sheamus getting married? I don't know. I don't know why that's weird to me.
I love the Drew McIntyre story that he has when he's just like being a menace. Everyone deserves payback and just kicking everyone.
Yeah, man, that's another guy who had a really good comeback when he came back to the company. Anyway,
fun.
The Rumble. Who do you think is coming back in the Rumble?
I think.
Who do you want to see come back?
It's not going to be a surprise, but something's telling me Brock Lesnar has to be returning. He always shows up for these marquee events. They're going to probably have him return there. He'll probably get eliminated by someone, and then he'll have a feud and attack someone outside of the ring or something like that. I don't know who's going to feud with, but he'll probably be back for the Rumble.
They only did that 40-man Rumble 1 year, right?
Yeah.
They got to do that again. That was cool.
Who else do I think?
They got to do that again.
Who do I think could return?
Karma. Karma comes back again.
Oh, man.
The Great Khali, dude, that would be cool, but he's like not in good health. I don't think anymore. Yeah, I think he's like a little old, and like now like being that huge like is like taking a toll on him. So I don't know. I don't think the Great Khali's coming back anytime soon. Hornswoggle ain't coming back. I really loved, like, my favorite return ever was Edge in 2011 when like he originally broke his neck. Then my second favorite one was recently when Triple H came out. I was like, whoa, that is such a good idea. And then he won. I was like, dude. And that was a good like final run for him.
Who do I see returning? I don't know, because I don't feel like it's going to be any maybe, I mean, I could see Carmelo Hayes getting called up that way, Braun Breaker. I could see NXT guys coming in and getting called up that way.
Yeah.
But as far as it goes for like surprise returns or retired guys coming back for one night, I hope we see, I don't know exactly who, but my one thing, I hope we see more of that this year than we did last year. I wasn't opposed. You get more people on the main roster returning instead of cutting them out and giving spots to guys whose time has passed. I'm not opposed to that, but I hope we see a few more. But my biggest complaint last year with the Rumble was we knew Cody was returning, and the fact that he came out last, I'm like, well, he should have came out like middle of it or whatever, because he came out last, like, oh, he's going to come out last.
Yeah, coming out 30 is always like, eh.
Yeah. When I'm just interested to see what happens. Gunther, when's he going to come out this time? Maybe Gunther comes out last. He's not going to win it because he's going to have to. That's what I think. Brock's going to return, and Gunther will eliminate Brock, setting up a match at Mania for Brock Lesnar and Gunther to fight for the IC title, and Brock will beat him for the title, which is going to help Gunther because he loses to a guy like Brock. It puts a top name with the IC belt, and Gunther can now go on to fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship, the WWE Championship, and elevate him to this level when he could be fighting for one of the top two titles now, which it depends who he loses to. And if he loses to a guy like Brock, that's fine.
I think, that would make the most sense for me. Brock is the only one who would come back who would have any sort of actual heat.
Yeah.
Like, no one else could come back and be like, oh, Santino's back. He's going to go crazy. Like, no one's going to do that.
I want to see Brock and Gunther, too. I'm a huge Gunther fan. He's awesome at what he does.
Yeah, he's really good.
Right now, he's in my top 3 favorite wrestlers at the current moment. You know, you have Punk.
He's a great showman.
You have Gunther. I'm a huge Chad Gable fan. I want to see Gable with the U.S. title.
That's
probably Gable, Gunther, and Punk right now are in my top 3.
A lot of the guys, man, they just got like lousy gimmicks that like it's hard to get behind. And like that's the thing about AEW. Like it's a little bit older crowd you can watch, but then like the thing they don't show you is behind that hard cam, there's no one in that audience. Like there's only one side of an audience at AEW shows. It's crazy. But WWE, it's literally like cinema. Like they do so much direction, so much backstage technical directing and production stuff that it really comes out like poetry. It's amazing. But then
as far as like returns though, I don't really have any names that besides Brock Lesnar for men's.
Brock would make the most sense.
AJ Lee for the Women's Rumble. It's like you said before you hopped on. We're gonna probably see Trish Stratus and Lita.
Yeah, Trish Stratus and Lita.
We'll see them.
Maybe the Bellas. Who knows?
Maybe Kelly.
Yeah, maybe Kelly. Like who knows?
Oh.
That's Undertaker's wife, right? No, that's
someone's wife.
No, Undertaker's wife is some wrestler. That blonde wrestler. We should have known this. I knew it at one point. We're gonna find out right now for you, and then we'll let everyone know that Undertaker's wife is.
Oh, Michelle McCool.
Michelle McCool. I knew that, but I forgot. Here's the only thing. The last thing I want to say is like the product nowadays is like it's kind of getting a little dry because they're running out of people to pull back in unless they're gonna start being from AEW. Like think about like the last 2 years of things we've seen in WWE and how it's been working. We'll take a wrestler who has been wrestling in a long time because John Cena, it all started when John Cena was like, I'm going to go do movies. So then when he said that, they were like, we need to find old guys now to bring back in for a little bit. So they got Edge. They brought in Cody. They brought in Punk. They brought in MVP. Like every old name they can think of, they brought in for a little bit. Even Undertaker had a few spots. Missing a few other guys. But yeah, a bunch of people, old guys came back for a few spots that last, a year and a half just to leave again? So like the product, if you like the product now, it'll only last that long for a year unless you're like Roman Reigns. And then what happened with AJ Styles? What were we saying about AJ Styles? Oh, yeah.
At 46.
Yeah, AJ Styles is 46?
Yep. It's crazy. Thought it was 38.
Didn't Undertaker retire like near 50? Or like 52.
Guys are going later, but also I feel that they're also a lot more active. Well, I don't know about that. I feel everyone's been pretty active back in the day, now. So it's a grueling sport, man. I mean, you're always being hit. I know the whole thing with wrestling, it's fake, this and that. No, I mean, you're still getting hit. You jump off a ladder onto someone else, and you tell me how your body feels.
I like what Punk said about it. Like, it's all fake, but it's all real.
Yeah.
Like, or no, it's all fake, but it all hurts.
I mean,
it's all fake, but it's all real. Yeah.
Listen, I want to know, you tell me how you can jump, how when Edge got, no, what am I saying? You tell me, you jump off a ladder onto someone else. How does that feel? You get speared off a ladder.
Speared.
How is that going to feel?
Dude, what if you get thrown off a Hell in a Cell?
Yeah.
Like that. That's like 50 feet in the air.
Are you going to tell me that?
Through a table?
Are you going to tell me that you faked the landing?
How do you think Rikishi felt when he got thrown off into like a barrel full of hay? I mean, that might have been okay. But it looked fun, but also terrifying.
I mean, listen, there's only so much that you can do to protect yourself from these falls, and jumping off a rope onto someone or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. They do it well, so let's call them wrestlers, not superstars. It's not a galaxy. It's not some astronomical anomaly we're watching. Just call them wrestlers.
And I hear people ridiculing me. Oh, you watch wrestling? This and that. Screw
you watch wrestling?
Like, who cares?
Dude, people who say that don't watch television or movies because wrestling
I'm sorry that they don't like to have fun in their life.
Yeah, and here's the thing. As a wrestling fan who also is a big fan of like movies and production and all those things, they do it better than anyone. Like the way they shoot it, the way they sequence the times you see each shot, the way there's cameramen everywhere. I lost the light. They do it the best. Not like us.
Like you're telling me that you wouldn't want to tune in on Monday night and see Mommy on screen with Dom Dom, her Latino heat. If you're telling me you wouldn't want to see Mommy and Mom and Dom Dom, the Latino heat on screen, something's seriously wrong with you.
I think it's your Latino heat. It's your Latino heat now.
I'm in love with the whole Judgment Day thing. I love the whole gimmick. It's probably my favorite part about it.
It is really good. I like it. It's a good product, man. Glad we're talking about it. And if you want to hear more wrestling ever again, let us know in the comments.
We'll put Sam behind the camera.
Yes, please. Let us know. And we might have to. I mean, I'm down for it.
I'm down too.
Yeah, obviously in the audience, it'll be great. So,
all right.
Let us know.
We'll see you guys later this week with the Week 16 recap. And the other light went with our Week 16 preview. Sam will be back. We'll hear all about his trip to New England with the Patriot game. He told me some funny things that have already happened. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Don't forget, like, subscribe. We have
In the Huddle.
We'll have
at In the Huddle
Instagram,
Pod.
TikTok. All the magic will be in the link in the description.
And we'll see you next time.